強さで振り返るね一緒にならなんでも乗り越えてみんな追いかけてよ Yes please because we'll overcome
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
Hey everyone, welcome to RDLP. I'm your host, the Prince of Play, Mr. Solon, and today we're playing Asagao Academy. I'm really excited about this game for a lot of reasons. I almost want to say this is the weirdest Let's Play. This is the weirdest dating sim that I've done. This is the weirdest virtual visual novel. But it's not. Like, we all know it's not. I've kind of run the gamut with dating boys. I've dated environmental terrorists, I've dated birds, I've dated cats, I've dated samurai vampires. I'm pretty well versed in dating the boys, or at least performing as women who are dating boys. I'm like the guy who dates boys through a girl. I don't know, it's weird. Otome games, they're awesome, right? So Asagao Academy puts me in a weird conundrum because this time we're dating YouTubers. I feel like the lens has flipped back around on me. But this is awesome. This is awesome that this exists because this means that someone went way out of their way, above and beyond what a fan of a YouTube channel would usually do. Hey, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. They were so charmed and excited about the things that people make on YouTube that they wanted to create an entire game out of these personas, because we all on YouTube play personas that are alike but somewhat reflective of our real life personas, and they turned that into a dating sim. They want to date the YouTube personas as they are, or even more, probably not just date the YouTube personas, but they want to dig deeper into those characters in a controlled environment, and that is the Academy. So, without further ado, let's dive into Asagao Academy. Thank you for joining us. What do we got? Chapter 1. This is something that not only got funding through Kickstarter, but has been in the works for a long time. And it's cool to have been able to watch it grow over time through all the gamuts that a Kickstarter game has. You know, blown release dates, getting out all of the rewards to everyone. They ran the gamut, and now they've earned it. This is happening, this is real. Asagao Academy is a real game. The train that we are on, I believe we are Hana? I think I'm gonna call her Hana for this run. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Okay, so we're taking like the Hogwarts Express all the way across the plains of Japan. Okay, good to know that we are localized in a very distinct region. Across from me sat a boy. Boy number 1. Face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading and hadn't spoken a single word to me even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. Come on! Dude's not even paying attention to me. I am literally the only human being alive in your universe right now. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour, in fact. He hadn't even once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. Wow, Hana is bored. And so forth, over and over, we made it to 22. Really a record. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. By the way, we're in Japan! Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3. Come on! Give me something to work off of, boy! The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy and his jacket. Come on, boy and jacket! It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was green, varsity-like jacket, with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. So you're a first year then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Is he kind of sparkling right now? Is he doing this? Looks good, this guy. Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. Oh, I feel like I asked for this, and I'm kind of blanching at the prospect that I actually have to be a human now in front of this other human. Oh God, oh Jesus. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. Oh no, he's out of our league. Oh no, we've been trounced. I asked for a boy. I did not mean an Adonis. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was sparkling. Okay, I'm not just seeing this in the character trope. This is a sparkly boy. Hey. He glanced around the compartment beside us and laughed. He knows he's out of our league. He's seen us blanch. Oh, I'm not a first year. I'm a third year. I'm a third year student. New here. Train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against the metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave? Puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy. That'd be a hell of an impression. I mean, not one to brag, but I mean, I've puked on quite a few YouTubers in my time. It's an impression. The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton skirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. Let me see if I can find this response in my mouth. It's because I'm a transfer student. Yeah? He laughed again. Transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. Ruined my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. I'm absolutely impressed with the details that are going into this introduction of our character. We are someone who is picky with the details, at least picky enough to need to keep checking them over and over. We might be maybe a little forgetful, or maybe a little just easily distracted somewhere along those lines. Boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
How's it going? Well then, Hana, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I picked up the response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. Crap! He's out of our league, and he knows more information about us than him. We're so boned. We're so boned! Alright, the Hogwarts Express has settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. They're just painting this picture with words. They could show it on the screen, but I actually really appreciate being able to feel this scene roll out in my mind while I'm reading it. I think this is really cool. It's a cool way to start, and I don't get to see that often in games like this. Usually it's very like dialogue heavy. I walked along the road with a swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. The thing about this not being a dialogue-heavy or even picture-heavy thing shows us a lot about the main character. That Hana is very shy and not about looking at all of the things around her or logging what is going on, and is trying to just do her best to like perform being a normal person. I am normal, everything's okay, I'll just keep going my normal direction, nothing weird will happen, and hopefully something weird will happen. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather bound and worth more than anything it contained. I've got a nice suitcase, maybe I come from a nice family. It wasn't far to the school, and I was. For maybe the first time in my life. Okay, I'm seeing this. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxfords. Click, click, clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake imagining, what would it be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy this first time? My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk, that somehow everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. All these people, animals look the same. This walk looks the same. All the grass and concrete looks exactly the same. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. But this school doesn't look the same. Look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. It's got like 3 stories to it. 4th? The clock tower? That's a baller school. School, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. This was it, Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. I assume that is tiny blue people, as in people in blue jackets. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. Oh snap, we've infiltrated the academy, this is perfect. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. That's a potent line. If we're characterizing ourselves, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. Because I'd never like having a blank slate character in these kinds of games. We see this a lot happen in otome games, where you are a female main character and you have a bunch of boys to date, is that you kind of play this like nothing character. But that does not mean I don't like playing a shy character or someone who doesn't feel special in their world. I like that role, that is fun. Because then all the boys get to flatter me and make me feel special. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. Hey! A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years. A cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl! Turned a few feet away. A small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls following a few steps behind him. It is not her fault that she was born with pink hair. It's not my fault that I was born with blue hair. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. My hair. I feel you, Hana! I feel you! It wasn't your fault that your hair looked like this. I knew it! Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign in the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? Obviously like 1,000? mean, I don't know if they all live here, but if they don't, like, if this isn't like, there's gotta be like dormitories to this building. Because if there's dormitories, I could see like maybe 500. Maybe close to 700. But, Jesus, it's a huge building. Ah, perfect. The second character of her story. As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. Looked away. And I looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
Oh, you must be my